Hey guys, Brett here, connecting from UbiCentral, and today I'm going to be talking about 5 different things Ubisoft should avoid with Watch Dogs 3. So let's get started. Number 5. Bringing back old characters for no reason. Now, with Watch Dogs 2, we saw the return of T-Bone, Tobias, Aiden, Jordy Chen, and Bloom, if you want to consider them a character. From a story perspective, some of these actually make sense, Bloom being the obvious example, but then you have people like Aiden Pierce. And don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people enjoyed seeing him again, but when you think about it from a story perspective, why in the world was he in San Francisco? And on top of that, you break him out of a cell, meaning Aiden Pierce, the badass vigilante, actually got captured by some gang members. Not Bloom, not DedSec, but a random gang who are barely in Watch Dogs 2. And last but not least, when you look at his character model, it's clear that they just threw this cameo in at the last second. I mean, this barely looks like Aiden Pierce. As far as T-Bone is concerned, we don't really know why he's in San Francisco either, but at least he plays a major role in the story. At least Jordy Chen, it made sense for him to be there because he's a hitman, and it was a DLC regardless. Aiden Pierce, if anything, made the character look worse. Literally. And I mean, come on, there's no reason for Tobias to be back either. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is, I don't want to see 5 different characters we know from Watch Dogs 1 or 2 return in the next game, especially if there's just no reason for them to be there. Number 4. Not having a full game at launch. Now, I know this sounds obvious, but it's actually important. As you all know, Ubisoft have been going into a games as service model, meaning that they support the game post-launch with updates. With that said, I really hope Watch Dogs 3 releases with a ton of content at launch. Because when you compare Watch Dogs 1 to Watch Dogs 2, the first game had more online modes at launch. Not to mention, the first game had more side activities such as digital trips, cash run, invasion, chess, poker, and that cup game, all of which are absent in the second game. My point is, I'm okay if they add stuff after launch. I mean, Watch Dogs 2 added more clothing options, weapons, and DLC. But I really want the core game to have a ton of content as well. Number 3, having exclusive deals. I'm sure most of you remember the first game and the insane amount of different pre-order options. But for those of you who don't, let me just quickly remind you. If you pre-ordered the game from a retailer, you would get an exclusive outfit and maybe mission. So if you bought the game at Target, you would get this cool outfit, but no one else could. They did this for about 10 different stores, which was stupid because there was barely any outfits in the main game to begin with. Thankfully, they learned from that with Watch Dogs 2, but as they took a step forward, they also took one step back. With Watch Dogs 2, all PlayStation owners would get the DLC 1 month early. Even though other people paid the same price, even though people paid for the season pass, they would have to wait 1 more month to play the DLC if they weren't on the PS4. Now, I own all of the consoles, so I was lucky enough to play the DLC on the PS4 when it came out, but obviously not everyone has a PlayStation 4. So those people not only had to wait longer for content, but they also had a chance of getting it spoiled from other people. So hopefully for Watch Dogs 3, they don't have an exclusive deal with Xbox or PlayStation, and everyone gets the same content at the same time. Number 2, multiple main characters. For some reason, I've been seeing this comment a lot recently, but I don't think there's a need for multiple main characters, especially when both games don't have the best story out there. The problem with Watch Dogs 1 and Watch Dogs 2 is the amount of characters in the game. In Watch Dogs 1, there's so many villains that you end up forgetting about a lot of them. In Watch Dogs 2, there's probably even more villains, and there's also DedSec, which, as you know, didn't get enough character time to develop. They shouldn't be adding multiple main characters when they can't even get one main character right. Hopefully for Watch Dogs 3, they just cut back on the number of allies and villains because they just haven't been able to balance them out properly. Number 1, a Silent Protagonist. So like most of you watching, I really like Far Cry 5. However, one of my biggest complaints is having a silent main character. For me personally, it just makes the story less impactful because I'm not connecting to them. And why should I? He or she has no emotions. Now, I'm totally okay with a character not having a ton of dialogue. Like the Master Chief, for example. He doesn't talk all that much, but when he does, you're glued to the screen. On the opposite side, you have outgoing characters like Ezio who are entertaining, but in their own way. So I'm okay with either of those options, but as far as completely silent goes, I just can't handle it. Just give me a character who speaks, and I'll be happy. Anyways, that's going to bring us to the end of this video. Let me know what you all think about everything in the comments down below, and I'll see you all later.